Hello and welcome to this workshop on YMYL content and authorship. This is part 2 of a SEO mini workshop series. There'll be 9 in total. In this session, we're going to cover what is YMYL content, how does YMYL apply to student minds, the importance of including authorship and content maintenance. I had a quick scan through Student Space and I've pulled up some items for review and compared it to other charities operating in the mental health sector. So what is YMYL content? Well, YMYL stands for Your Money or Your Life Content. Pay attention to this acronym as it appears 28 times in this presentation and is a real tongue twister. Play along at home, count how many times I say it wrong. Here we go. YMYL is content that Google deems could impact the future happiness, health, or financial stability of its users. Have you ever searched on Google about a cough you just can't shake and started reading health articles on this and trying to dive deeper into it? Or say you've just found out that your luxury designer brand has just launched its very own stylish ensemble for your furry friend. Yes, this is a real product that Gucci has launched. Seeing these knitted canine crew tops have left you clamoring hand over fist to invest your hard-earned money in stocks for this highly memeable product. As a result, you're frantically searching online for financial advice on how to buy shares in Gucci. Both these examples are considered YMYL content, as the first could impact your health, and the second, investing in shares, could impact your financial security. Google wants to ensure that you have the best possible advice when searching online and creates much stricter guidelines for this type of content as a result. A YMYL page is serious stuff, and Google doesn't play around with content that could impact the future happiness, health, financial stability, or safety of its users. Google has a 300-page guidance document that outlines content standards to help sites rank well. This document bridges the gap between user intent and search result accuracy, which influences SEO ranking factors. Obviously, I wouldn't expect you to read such a lengthy document. These mini-series will kind of skim over those main points for you. So all of this accumulates into YMYL content being harder to rank in the SERP. A lot of acronyms, I know. Let me break it down for you. In 2018, Google released the Google Medic Update, which impacted how YMYL content reviewed by Google algorithms. This update affected a lot of industry. Over 42% of sites affected were in the medical, health, fitness, or healthy lifestyle space. Previously, YMYL content was hard to rank, and it just became even harder. But when we think about this content and the potential impact it can have on people, I very much welcome this update. It ensures that the sites that you are viewing have the authority and expertise to talk about this niche of content. Sites that don't simply appear less frequently in the SERP. So what happens to a site that has YMYL and non-YMYL content? And this is a position that Student Minds is going to be in post-website merger when we merge Student Space with Student Minds. This question was put to John Muller, a software architect who works with Google's SEO algorithms. In an interview, John said mixing YMYL and non-YMYL is always going to be challenging for Google's algorithms to figure out how to deal with that website. Not the definitive answer content creators were looking for. This is why in previous workshops we noted that SEO is like an art and a science of persuasion. So you're probably thinking we've gone back and forth and ended up right back where we started, and I'm none the wiser. So what does that mean, and what can we do? How does YMYL apply to student minds? When Google approaches YMYL content like the psychoeducational content that is on Student Space, it ranks the content on the EAT principle. Remember that EAT stands for expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness. The EAT principle is one of the key factors from Google for assessing the quality of a web page. So what have we learned so far? To rank for YMYL content, we need to demonstrate EAT in our content. So how do we do that? Here is a screenshot straight from Google's 300-page guideline document I referred to earlier. This section refers to the EAT principle. When approaching EAT, we must consider the expertise of the content creator and the main content, the authoritativeness of the creator, the main content itself, and the website, and the trustworthiness of the creator of the main content, the content itself, and the website. The better we can communicate this to Google and our users, the more likely that they will trust our content and the higher we will rank. Some tips on how to create EAT content. 1. Create high quality content, and this is the most important. Google really doubled down on this in the helpful content update released in August 2022. The focus of the update was to ensure that content is original, helpful to users, and written by people for people. I can see that the use of AI and Google's ranking features becoming a hot topic of 2023 as systems like ChatGPT become more influential in the content creation process. 2. Provide author info and transparency. Pro tip, have subject matter experts review your writer's content. This will help you establish credibility and avoid mistakes or misinformation. This is already happening with CAG and Student Minds, and keep this in mind as we move into authorship later in this presentation. 3. Credible sources. Just like referencing in essays you wrote at university, articles need to reference claims to other authoritative sites. And we'll look at this later in the backlinking workshops that are coming up. 4. Create a positive organization reputation. Your organization's reputation can impact the trustworthiness of your content and the site overall. 5. Monitor and leverage user-generated content. User-generated content is any type of content created by customers or consumers rather than the website owner itself. We are starting to see this happen with some of the work that Abby is leading on, linking our blog post quotes from volunteers and embedding them into the student-based content. Perhaps this is an area that we can continue to ideate and develop over time. To sum up, as long as we are diligent in our research, review process, and content creation, our EAT score should increase over time. Now let's look at how to put this into practice. Content authorship. Content authorship refers to two key areas. 1, content creator authorship, and 2, website or organization authorship. When writing YMYL content, we must consider if both of these authorship groups have the expertise to write or host the content. But how do we communicate this to Google and, most importantly, to our users? Let's look at content creator authorship in more detail and how this is currently being communicated on the Student Space website. As you can see from this screenshot, a snippet of Gareth's bio appears above the article body and gives an overview of his expertise. This sends positive signals to Google and highlights the trustworthiness of the content they have written. As content creators, we should always be reviewing our content and looking to improve it. This could be the content itself, any context or references, or the structure of the content and the way it's presented. An improvement that would require minimal investment and could possibly impact the content's EAT score is creating a more detailed bio page for our clinical writers that snippets like these could link to. This would give users and Google more space to read and understand the depths of the author's expertise. But don't take my word for it. In 2022, Student Minds had its content reviewed by an award-winning SEO agency called Found. They put forward several recommendations. These are the main points relating to YMYL content. 1. All articles should contain content authorship information similar to Gareth Hughes' example. Brilliant, we're doing that. 2. Authorship information should link to more in-depth author bio pages hosted on the site. I would highly recommend reading their findings as we progress through this SEO workshop series. Now let's look at the second category in authorship, website or organization authorship. This includes both the reputation of the site, but also the organization associated with it. I had a look over the site for some quick wins, and I found a couple of areas for improvement that could help demonstrate EAT in site authorship. These guidelines can be applied to any of Student Mind's platforms. The way Student Space team is creating its content demonstrates high eatability, if such a word exists, but I struggle to find any detailed information of this process, CAG, or how Student Space creates its clinical content on the site. Better communicating this process may improve the EAT score of our YMYL content. In fact, Student Space About Us page might need to be reviewed, as it is quite modest. We can also see this on this page that there are connections between Student Minds and its funders. These are credible links and go a long way for EAT. There is a good use of backlinking here, but unfortunately it isn't consistently appearing across the site, with areas in the footer highlighted in yellow on the right that should have hyperlinks attached to them. If you click on the Student Minds link, it sends the users to the Student Minds homepage, and I wonder if there could be a better place to send those people to communicate this relationship and continue this user journey. Here is another example of backlinking and authoritativeness. As we can see on the evaluation page, that there are some links missing, highlighted in yellow, and these are missed opportunities for Google to create those authoritative connections. The Read the Evaluation links to a report on the Centre for Medical Health site. I wonder if Student Minds hyperlinks should send users to a page on its site that explains this relationship between itself and Student Space more clearly, similarly to what is happening with the Centre of Medical Health link here. Now let's look at maintaining content. Maintaining YMYL content is really important, as our users and Google want to ensure that this highly sensitive content is up to date and relevant. As creators of YMYL content, we want to ensure that we are creating and maintaining every piece of content so that it's the highest quality that it can be. Too much YMYL content on a site can be damaging if the organization doesn't have the capacity or resources to maintain it. As you begin to discuss introducing new YMYL content, ask yourself, do we have the authority to write about this content? Is my team able to maintain this way into the future? Is this content timely, and might it need a retirement plan? Does this content replace or update an existing piece of content? I know the team has some fantastic content management spreadsheets, and with the pending website merger, these processes are under review on how we approach it moving forwards. So the logistics are covered. Big tick, well done. Now we just need to communicate this to our users and to Google. As we can see from this screenshot, we have a last reviewed at the bottom of every article. Fantastic, but this is only half the story. Imagine you're in a supermarket and looking to buy high-risk food like raw meat or fish. You pick up the packet and it only has the date it was packed on it. Would you risk it? Would you want to eat it? YMYL content is exactly the same. We shouldn't expect our users to trust the quality of it if they can't determine when this content is due to expire or next be reviewed. Any page that includes YMYL content should also be including a next review date. This should be standard across all of this content. This holds us accountable for managing our content, but also communicates to our users and to Google that due diligence is happening. An early YMYL content review may be triggered as a response to events or external factors happening in the world, but all should have a default next review date. And here are some examples of how the charity Mind is effectively demonstrating this. As you can see from this screenshot, minor tweaks that can potentially have big impacts on our EAT score. There isn't clear guidance from Google on when articles like this should be reviewed. The content team should really take feedback from content experts and determine what is suitable given the organization's resources and sensitivity of the content. So thank you for listening to my talk on YMYL content and authorship. The next session will be on how to write content with keywords or key phrases in mind. SEO keywords are keywords and phrases in your web content that make it possible for people to find your site via search engines. I'll try to find some free sites and tools that can help with this too. And this session will be on Friday the 21st of April. So look forward to seeing you all.